I'm going to be honest, my urbanites, just the title got me. Intentional foreplay.
Don Cheadle.
I love that. A play of words and just,
I love my wife. My wife is the only thing that I need for my satisfaction.
You need me.
Okay.
You need me a lot.
Should be equal yet different, and because you're different, you are now connecting together to complement each other like how a puzzle fits together. I believe if you persevere through it, then good things, the result is going to be good.
We can't let anything stop us now.
It's going to be prosperous. The worst thing you could do in life is to quit.
This is going to be life-changing. Do not give up.
Who's the singer that has this song, Can't Write? Love Story, right?
oh yes, love
Right?
story.
Love Story. So I was repeat the love story. Love story changing my heart. It brought me some joy.
All right. Hot.
Okay. You need to have some lust moments in your marriage
To horny jail you go.
and some rejuvenated moments. If you're listening to He Saw the Best in Me when everyone else around will only see the worst in me. If you're from the old days, you may need to listen to some Rock With Me Tonight. All that kind of good stuff. You know what I mean? Some Let's Get It On.
Let's get it on.
Love never fails. What does that mean to you?
That means I love you. That means I love you. That's what it means. That means I love you.
Hello, my urbanites. You have entered into the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa LaCon. Welcome. Listen, we'll be right back after these messages. Stick with us. All right, so we're having technical difficulties, probably because of the wind. So guess what, my urbanites? You have landed in the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa LaCon. And tonight, what we are going to discuss, we're talking about the art and science of beauty, makeup. This is $1 billion industry just in the United States alone, okay? Like a 45, 49, $50 billion industry in the United States alone. And then get this, listen to this. I have to put my readers on because I have to read this for you guys. It says, according to research, there are 2 primary reasons why women wear makeup. Now, I'm only highlighting women because it's Women's History Month. I know men wear makeup too, but it's not your night. All right. So the first reason is camouflage. And the second is seduction. So what are women camouflaging? And who or what women, what are they seducing? Who are they seducing? Anyway, and why? So today in the Urban Suite, we're discussing this $1 billion industry. Now, the question that I have is wearing makeup vanity, or is it a necessary tool to keep us sane in this unpredictable world? All right, so we have coming up is our wonderful special guest. She is a chemist. Her name is Kim the Chemist. Actually, it's Kimberly Tetraton. And she is, let me tell you, I have never met a chemist like this. So after these messages, hopefully it will play because we have to do our missing person segment as well as give a word to our sponsor. All right. So we'll be right back after these messages with Kim the chemist. Urban Tools for Change Network is sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated, BMI, the premier workforce development agency in the state of New Jersey. We are here to serve you. If you have a history of being on parole, if you are on probation, if you are an adult with a disability, if you are a youth with a disability and you're looking for employment, come check us out at 973-733-WORK. So again, BMI sponsors Urban Tools for Change Network. All right, so this is our missing person segment. So anytime I do a scheduled live, I always have to highlight someone missing, and tonight is no exception. So who do we have tonight? We have missing since February the 23rd, 2023, from Indianapolis, Indiana. We have Soraya Williams. Listen, you people in Indiana, I need you to look at this picture. I need you to share this information because she's only, 17 years old. All right, so let me get into this. She's been missing from February the 23rd, 2023. She's 17, from Indianapolis, Indiana. She's a female. She's Black. Her complexion is light. She's 5'4", 120 pounds. Her hair color is black. Her hair length is medium, and her eye color is brown. Soraya, a North Central High School student, was last seen again on February the 23rd, 2023 at school. She was wearing a black sweatshirt and black cloth bell-bottom pant. According to her mom, she never returned home from school. That must be devastating. Anyone with information, please contact Indianapolis Metro Police Department, and their telephone number is 317-327-6160. And let me repeat that for my Spotify family, my iHeartRadio family, Google Podcasts, as well as, I think I said Amazon. Yes, Amazon. All right. 317-327-6160, or get in contact with BAMFI, that's the Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated, at 877-97-BAMFI. Let's bring Soraya Williams home. And then we have a found safe. Yes. Yes. Thank God. Listen, prayers are working. Sharing is working. Share this information. Absolutely share with your friends. She was 20 years old, missing since February the 14th. She has been found safe. She was missing from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Thank God she is found safe. And that's what this is about. I need you to share. Do you realize it's free to share? You don't have to pay a single thing to share this information. So when we come back, we're going to have Kimberly Teverton, the chemist of cosmetology, in the Urban Suite. Stay with us. Another wonderful show tonight with a very special guest.
Who, me? No!
You ready to do this? Oh, I'm ready to do this.
And let me tell you, these Tuesdays, they go so fast. Oh my gosh.
Too much time on your hand, is it?
Honey, turn that clock off. I ain't paying no attention to it. Turn it off. Turn it off.
We will be right back.
I'll be right here, doing nothing.
Man, you don't want to miss this.
I'll be there.
I am back. I have my Wonder Woman bracelet on. Well, I only have one, but anyway.
Hello, Urbanites. Hello.
What's happening? It's been a minute.
Hey, what's up, cholas?
What's up?
Hello, gorgeous.
And let's dig into this because this is really important.
I'm listening.
My Urbanites, I love you. I'll see you soon. All right, my Urbanites, without further ado, I bring you Kimberly Tetterton. All right, bring her on up. Let's see. All right. Hello there.
Good evening, Lisa.
Oh my goodness. Welcome into the Urban Suite.
Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you. So, because you are new to the Urban Suite, I have to bequeath you. Boom. You are now an Urbanite. Yay.
Yay!
All right. All right. So, let's get into it. So, for you guys that don't know, Kimberly is a chemist, and she is responsible for, you see this lipstick I'm wearing? And I'm going to tell you about this lipstick a little later because there's a little story behind this lipstick. I guess you have these chemicals that you have and you put it together and it comes out like this.
This is true.
Oh, all right. So tell me, okay, how did you get started? Like a little bit about yourself and just who is Kimberly the chemist?
Okay, so I've been working in cosmetics for about 20 years now.
Oh.
I actually started my career in a laundry lab, and I was started doing fragrance. So when I worked in the fragrance lab, I was just washing the fragrances into the hand towels, and that's like Suavitel, things of that nature. So I started as like a lab technician, and I found it interesting, but it wasn't quite what I wanted to do. So I experimented into fragrance a little more, and then I like to say that I didn't find cosmetics, it found me. I had a temporary job by working in Avon, actually. I worked at Avon as a temp, and I started making creams and lotions, and I found that I fell in love with it. I went back to school. I have a master's in cosmetic science, and I've made everything from skincare, creams and lotions, shampoos, body washes, to now I'm into liquid foundations, concealers. I've made some lipsticks, but my specialty is liquid foundation.
Wow. Listen, she's responsible for getting those dark circles.
Yes.
No.
I just had a new under eye corrector that hit the market that I'm very excited about. Unfortunately, I can't promote it the way I'd like to, but just know if you shop Sephora's website and you see a new stick color corrector, it's probably something I made.
What? Oh, that's the bomb. Listen, what? What? Oh my gosh. All right, so you gave me goosebumps. I'm serious. Oh my gosh, because we put it on, but we don't think, okay, someone has to create this in a lab. So speaking of lab, what was your undergrad major? And then you said you got your master's. So talk a little bit about undergrad, and it had to be in the sciences.
Yes, actually, I majored in chemistry at Hampton, and I wanted to be a forensic toxicologist. But after majoring in chemistry, I just needed a little bit of a break. And then that's when I started working. I didn't know what else to do. So
Mhm.
that's when I had the temp job, and my first job was in the laundry lab. I did explore fragrances a little bit, but I
Mhm.
found that unless you're training to be a perfumer, which most of them do train in France for a very long time, so they're very skilled. I
Mhm.
did pick up a very sensitive nose working in that
Mm.
industry, but it just wasn't quite my passion. But I
Mm.
found when you get to make the cosmetics themselves, it was a little bit more interesting because you have different textures, different materials, whereas fragrance, most of it is liquid,
Mm.
which you can put in different forms, like you have your candles and your the little trees that you hang up in the car, but
Mhm.
the actual fragrance is mostly liquid. So it's a little more interesting when you get to make creams and lotions and different textures and foundations and things of that nature. So that is where my passion lied.
Wow. So what is the history of makeup?
So makeup actually started all the way back into the Egyptian era, where they
Mhm.
used to use creams and oils in order to moisturize their skin. They also
Mm.
used essential oils and things of that nature as perfumes to make sure that they smell nice.
Mm.
Along the way, you have where the Chinese and the Japanese use some rice powder.
Mhm.
Like, you think about the geisha girl, their face is
Oh.
very white. Yes, so they
Mhm.
use rice powder for that. And then even if you travel to India, you think about henna. That's where it kind of
Mm.
originated, and people still use henna today. So a lot of these early makeup or cosmetics are still being used today. We're just enhancing them along the way.
So how do you put your lab coat on?
Yes,
You have
absolutely.
the thing and the things, and then how do you what is a day like for you? Like your average day?
The For me, because now that I'm a director of the lab, I don't make the cosmetics as much. I direct my chemist. But
Mhm.
when you are making a makeup, the easiest way to describe it is it's just like cooking. When
Mm.
you put on your apron or your
Mhm.
lab coat, in my case, we put on our goggles, the proper
Mhm.
protective personal equipment, and you start to cook. So you
Mm.
have your materials. A basic cream has an oil phase and a water phase. Oil and water don't mix, just like
Mhm.
in the oil and vinegar salad dressing.
Mhm.
So we add something to it called an emulsifier. It's like a
Mhm.
glue that holds it together. It'll turn your oil
Mm.
and vinegar into ranch, so you get a
Mm.
creamy
Oh.
texture. I like to compare it to food because everyone understands food.
Mhm.
And so basically that's what we do. We will make the cosmetics and we'll adjust the ingredients, just like when you're baking a cake. You taste it, you're saying, oh,
Mhm.
it needed a little more butter or a little more sugar. And every time we make it, we take our notes and write down your formula or your recipe
Mm.
in your lab book, and you take your specifications and then you feel it. You have to
Mhm.
feel the texture. Did it meet your needs? Did it
Mhm.
do what the customer's asking for? And if it didn't, then how do you plan to adjust it depending on what's in there? Maybe you need to increase something, maybe you need to add something, maybe you need to take something out. And this
Mhm.
is basically what we do day to day. So we're just like chefs.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. So your client is, say for instance, I have my makeup line, right?
Hmm.
And I say, I need a lipstick, I need a matte finish, I need a glossy finish. And those are the two that I think can think of right now. And I need a certain color. Do
Hmm.
you run with that?
So we get a brief and they
Mhm.
will detail those types of attributes. And usually we'll get a shade benchmark,
Oh.
something that we're going to match it to.
Mhm.
Um, if we don't, shade matching takes a very long time.
Mhm.
But we will get a shade benchmark and we'll read the brief. Okay, if they wanted something that's more matte, they will say, yes, we
Mhm.
want 24 shades of this matte lipstick. It has to have these attributes, this, that, and the other. We want it to have vitamin E. We want it to have this
Mm.
claim. We want it to be long wearing. So we'll formulate it according to those attributes.
Mhm.
And with a matte lipstick, you're going to have more powders. And that's why it's a little
Mm.
more matte, a little more dry.
Mhm.
And if you have very dry lips, matte is probably not your favorite thing to wear
That's not.
because
Mm-mm.
it has a lot of powder, which tends to be absorbing, which is
Mm.
why it's matte and which is why it feels dry.
Oh, I love the look of matte, but I can't wear matte. It
I
sucks
can't either. I
all
get it.
everything out of my lips.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like,
it does.
oh, but it's beautiful to look at.
It is very nice. And
Mhm.
glossy would be the complete opposite of that. So if you're
Mhm.
gonna have a glossy or high shine lipstick or lip gloss even, you're gonna
Mhm.
use something that has higher shine oils,
Mm.
something that if you have dry lips, that would be more recommended because it's more
Mhm.
moisturizing.
Mhm.
It does transfer more because it's more wet or more moist. So it
Mhm.
doesn't wear as long as matte, but you have to be comfortable too, right? So
Right.
that's why they have more than one and something to fit everyone's needs.
Right, because I hate like you said, it's highly transferable. So if I
Yeah.
have a glass of wine, my big lips are on the wine glass. It's like, oh my God, I hate that. It was like, and then it may make your wine taste a little different because you're mixing your wine with the gloss, the lipstick thing, but it's not that much lipstick on there. But still, it just looks like, ugh. But that's what. But that's why I don't like it, but I can't wear any other thing. Now, talk about petroleum because petroleum, I can't wear petroleum. That's another thing that sucks the moisture
Mhm.
out of my lips.
So petroleum it has different fractions
Mhm.
and it's basically the more solid or heavier, thicker
Mm.
portion of the petroleum itself. It has, like I said, different fractions because there's like an oily part. You ever get a jar of Vaseline and you
Mhm.
see sometimes it's like the oil on top and then the
Mm.
actual solid on the
Right.
bottom.
Mhm.
It has different fractions. So people that are sensitive to that, there are alternatives out there,
Oh.
especially since we're going in the way of clean beauty.
Mm.
Are focusing more on natural ingredients or naturally derived.
Mhm.
So there is different like oils that can give a similar texture, similar application, and similar attributes in the formula that are natural. And so you would find something in that sense. And then in terms of the solid portion, which is the
Mhm.
petroleum jelly, um,
Mhm.
you can actually take a little bit of wax and like a wax that a person would not be sensitive to
Mhm.
and melt it into the oil and give that oil a little bit of body. So you could do that as a petroleum replacement.
That's interesting because there's some cheap makeup like lipstick and stuff, and you can feel the cheapness. Is that proper to say you can feel the cheapness? I don't know. But what is the cheapness? Like, is it the ingredients are cheap? They're just throwing stuff up in there and
It could be a little bit of both.
mm.
Really nice texture modifiers do tend to cost a lot of money. And
Mm.
so those powders that I was talking about in the matte lipstick, that it feels very nice. It's
Mhm.
drying, but it has a very nice, soft, powdery texture. Some
Mhm.
of them can cost as much as like $800 a pound. So
What?
yeah, those modifiers are very, very expensive. And because of that, you don't need as much though to get that soft texture. So it
Mm.
really just depends. And sometimes, the main thing is to find something for everyone in their price point as well. If that doesn't work for you, then maybe there are some powders actually that people use on their lips. The thing you
Mm.
have to be careful about is eyes and lips, though, because there are restrictions, and there's more restrictions on those two because they are orifices where things can enter the body
Right.
versus the face. But there are some powders I've seen. Maybe it was more innovation, but I've seen that people use on the lips. And so
Mhm.
you can do that with something that's a little bit more moisturizing. You can control your powder load.
Mhm.
But the ones that feel really cheap is basically like a skeletal formula. So
Mhm.
if you're baking a cake, if you just made it with like flour, eggs, and butter, I mean, it's not going to taste like much. But if you were able to add that vanilla extract and a little
Mhm.
other things to give it that oomph, you're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck.
Now, how do you add color? Like color to eyeshadows, blush? How do you add the color? Where does that color come from?
The color is from these powders called pigments. They're
Mhm.
inorganic materials, and the main colors that we use in foundations is white, yellow, red, and black. We can make all shades from the most fair to the most brown of brown in those four shades. Now with it, the eyeshadows and lip glosses and things that have sparkle, there's something called pearls. So what it is with the pearl, there's a platelet. If you think about a plate and you're putting your food on it, it's called mica. And mica itself is a little bit reflective. And then you'll put color on the mica, and depending on how it's treated or how it's added to it, it will reflect in a different way. And that will give you your different colors and your different shine. And most of the time, if you read the ingredients, it doesn't look like there's something super fancy in there. It's mica or a calcium borosilicate, which is like a glass pearl. It's not glass like the type that's on your window, but glass as in the process to make it. But the glass pearls give you more high shine because glass is more reflective. So we have them in all different colors, and those are very beautiful. I mean, again, they can be very expensive, but there's some that are color changing in and of themselves. So, you know, when you look at it in the light, you may see blue or a blue green, and then you tilt it a little bit, you may see a little bit of a red orange, and those color changing pearls is what give you that really nice, beautiful effect. But that's why those powders and eyeshadows cost a little bit more too.
So more goes into it. Oh, see, now I see. But well, because I know, like I said, I can tell the inexpensive stuff sometimes.
Yes.
Now you've been in the business. How long have you been with cosmetics?
I've been in cosmetics itself for about 17 of the 20 years I've been working.
Now, have you seen a shift in the color of the foundation because more African-American women, darker skinned women have been like saying, what about us? What about us? Have you seen a shift in creating more foundations for brown skin, darker women?
What I've actually seen is brands increasing the number of shades that they're making. If you think about the Fenty Beauty, the Pro Filter, her first foundation, and she had like 45, 50 shades. I have a project in my lab right now that we're working with a customer that has 45 shades. So it's a daunting task, but it's well worth it. And we consider everything, not just, you know, is this a fair tone or a brown tone, but, you know, what is the undertone? Is it a little more olive? Is it a little more rose? Is it a little more, you know, red? What is the undertone? So a lot of times in a foundation family, you'll see 3 shades because it'll be like the top tone and the undertone, and then with your undertones, it'll be like the red, the yellow, the olive. And so you want to make sure that you have something for everyone, and then as you build it out from your lights, your light mediums, tans, and deeps, that's when you start to expand the number of shades that you're working with.
Wow. And I think this is a perfect segment into transitioning because we're going to have the celebrity makeup artist. So after Kimberly does what she does and she satisfies her client, you have the makeup artist that gets this makeup to put it on our face and we look like this. Isn't that something, the whole process? So when we come right back, we're going to meet this fantastic celebrity makeup artist, Andrea Fairweather. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Yeah, we have Felicia. We have my source, Cynthia. Good evening. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. I don't know, for some reason it doesn't like that, because that's the second time it cut off. So anyway, we are back faster than I thought. So I'm glad I have everything ready and prepared. All right. So I need my readers on because let me tell you, man, oh my goodness. All right. So y'all ready? My urban nights. Oh my goodness. All right. So celebrating more than 30 years as a famed makeup artist and 25 years as the founder and CEO of Fairweather Faces Incorporated, Andrea Fairweather is an award-winning makeup artist who has created makeovers for women from all spheres, from stay-at-home moms to some of the biggest names in entertainment. On the staff of ABC's Good Morning America since 1998, she has worked exclusively with some of the best. And listen to this, my urbanites. I want you to listen to this. She was the first full-time African-American makeup artist assigned to ABC's Good Morning America. Listen. And she's here in the Urban Suite. Welcome, Andrea Fairweather.
Thank you. Al, I'm in the Urban Suite. I'm in.
Yes, boom, there you go. I bequeath you.
Thank you. I accept.
Oh my gosh. Now, we're going to get into it. Some of the people that you've done their faces: Simone Biles, Amber Rose, Elizabeth Vargas, Diane Sawyer. Like, oh my goodness. How did you become a makeup artist? What was your path, your journey?
Well, my journey was full of a few twists. I thought I was going to have a career that patented itself similar to Debbie Allen's, because I was a dancer. And I really thought that I was going to make it as a dancer and an actress. But then I ended up getting injured. And it was a bad one in college. And so it really forced me to have to sit with myself and have a soul searching moment, if you will. And what I came up with, what the spirit told me was, you need to follow your passion, which is makeup. But the funny thing was that at that time back then, and that was in the 80s when it happened, makeup was just seemed to me like a hobby. I didn't know of anyone that was actually doing it as a profession. Except right after that injury was when I started doing music videos and dancing for that. And back then we had Roxana Floyd, who passed. And she was like it for us. She was the big celebrity makeup artist. She helped develop the Queen Latifah line through CoverGirl. And Rox was the one that we had. And then there was also Nzinga, who we still have now. And Nzinga, those two women helped. They became like my light, like the guides that I look to say, well, this is actually something that can happen. It doesn't have to just be a hobby for you. You can do something with it. I just didn't know. It took me a very long time to figure out what that was. And finally it did come, and it was what was to be Fairweather Faces.
Wow. Now, now I don't put on makeup like you, of course.
Well, you don't. You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
You know how I feel about it. I'm like, you need to hit the runway. You know how I feel.
So when you said, okay, let me start doing this, did you practice with anybody, or did you practice on yourself? How did you refine this craft? What is the process like?
Right. Well, for me, yes. At first, it was that I was self-taught. I was doing it all along because I was dancing while performing when I was dancing. So I was doing stage makeup, and then I was doing it on my friends, on my fellow dancers and actors. And then once I really made the decision that, you know what, I think I can do this, then I just figured, instead of me getting a job and going outside of my wheelhouse just to have a job, why don't I just get in alignment with this and make the commitment? So I just went to the department stores, and I was working around the city, going around as a consultant to all these different department stores, understanding the various cosmetic lines, the different clientele that purchases the different makeup, because one person that will buy a Fairweather Faces lipstick is a different person that'll buy possibly a NARS or a Bobbi Brown. It's all right. You know what I mean? Price point, where the location is, it's all different. And I wanted to learn that.
Okay.
And in the midst of doing that, I was slowly developing the concept of my business, which launched officially in 1997. Fairweather Faces Travel and Beauty Services was the very first mobile beauty business to exist as a unit. I realized that I wanted to do something different. I like movement. And I don't like to do the same thing over and over every day. And every time I thought about it, I was like, oh no, how am I going to do this? I did not want to own a salon.
Okay.
Specifically, I did not want that overhead because it scared me.
Okay.
And so I figured, I think for me, what will be best is if I can convince other artists to join me in the vision, which was something really out there for them. But for me, it made sense. And I said, why don't we just galvanize together, and it will be makeup, hair, nails, and massage therapy. And we will travel to the client's location of their choice, and we will provide the services. And at first, some people, they got it right away. Either you got it or they were like, okay, girl, you are bugging out. But eventually, once they saw that we were actually doing it, the majority of them, they jumped on board.
Wow. So you had an entourage, like a team.
Yes. It was a team that started in New York the first year in 97. In 98, I literally moved out to LA. And it was literally the day that I got the offer to be the makeup artist that the key makeup artist at Good Morning America, that I had just landed in LA. And I literally just asked them, can you just give me a week? I didn't tell them what it was. I just said, I just need a week to get myself together. They said, okay, I got my place together in LA, got another ticket, a return ticket to come back to New York, and was flying like a nut. 2 years back and forth every Friday after the show. I would get on the plane, go out to LA, develop the team, come back Sunday to do the show and do it all over again. So from New York to LA, and then after that, each couple of months, each major city in between the two coasts. So we have all the major cities in between.
Wow. So how can someone get in contact with you? Is this the website right here?
Yes, the website is always the best, because in that way they can read up on the history of the company and what we do. And now it's pretty much a split where you have the travel and beauty service division, but then you also have the travel and beauty kit division. About, I would say about 12 years ago, I have a client, Lara Spencer, and she and the hairstylist, Greg Janillo, were really on me about, Andrew, you need to do something. You need to jump in the arena of makeup. And I'm like, well, I'm already doing makeup. They said no, to create a product. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. And they were like, well, why not? And I said, no, because there's so many products out there. I don't know how I could fit in, or, you know, I just don't understand that lane at the time. And they said, well, why don't you write something down for me? Because if I can't be everywhere at once with every single client. And I'm always hearing the big compliment is, if I could only take you in my pocket, if I could just bring you in my bag, if you could just be over my shoulder, guiding me and telling me what to do. So I literally did a sketch for Lara. It was a really small sketch, like the size of my hand. And I just did a step-by-step for her of how to apply her makeup the way I do it. And I would give it to her, and she said, hey, Dre, because she calls me Dre. Hey, Dre, this worked. And I said, it did. And she said, and I said, but you have to follow it to the T. You can't jump around. It's like a recipe. It's like, you got to go right down the line, and you got to trust the process. And in the end, you will get the result. And she said that it worked. And then Greg was on me steadily saying, Fairweather, because he calls me Fairweather, you need to create a product that will match it. And then all of a sudden, Lisa, I'm telling you, like, it, when the moment strikes, it strikes. And when the vision happens, it happens. It did. Where literally in a dream and through a prayer, it came to me that, you know what, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and I know how to convey to someone in literally I can do it in one makeup session. I can show
Mm.
someone, and then after that they can fly with it, and I'll get someone new. I can teach it really well how to apply makeup, but how do I teach it to the masses?
Right.
And that's when the concept came up that, you know what, I can create a color-coded system
Mhm.
that will show the masses how to create the celebrity looks that I've done throughout the years. So I'll just quickly show you.
Yes, please.
These are the face charts, and
Okay.
they're not duplicate face charts. These are literally all the face charts that we have online
Mhm.
that will show step by step. These are the color coded face charts. This is actually the one that I'm wearing right now. Chocolate Love, which is a clean eye and a dark chocolate lip.
Mhm.
These charts are the savior,
Mm.
because all you do is just start at the top and you match the red dot to the red dot on the face with the matching brush. So the brushes have the bling on them in the colors. And it's just matching. It's like match the red to the red, the yellow to the yellow, the green to the green, blue to the blue in the order. And you will be able to create the look at home or on the go. And once I did it, I said, you know what? I think I can do this. So I started educating in that way through the color-coded system. But then another makeup artist pushed me at a family event. And she really sat down with me and said, since you created this, and at the time it was patented, I got it patented. So it's patented 5 times over. The system is patented. She said, Andrea, if you've already done all this work, why don't you just create the makeup that matches it? And I said, you know what? I guess it's time. So that's how that came to be.
Wow.
So it's a whole system. It's the face charts, the brushes that match it, and then also the colors.
Wow.
The products to match.
It reminds me of those books like Applying Makeup for Dummies. I would need that. And then it's like Garanimals. Remember Garanimals?
Yes.
Monkey with the monkey. Like you can't lose.
Yeah, you can't lose. And you know what's funny about that? One of my clients, Rashumba Williams, the top model, Rashumba, has me featured in one of her books. Hers was Modeling for Dummies, I think it is. So she did one of those books, and I'm in it.
Oh yeah, like
with her
applying makeup for dummies. Like hello,
yes,
hello.
Absolutely, yes.
So someone has a question, Jalisa. She has a question. Do you have any makeup for dark circles?
Yes. So what I have is I really have a line that's not saturated with a whole lot of product. I try to create the line in terms of the way I would want it to be presented to me. And that's in a simplified formula. So I really tried to have products in the line that are multifunctional. And so Jalisa, what we do have is this. We have the skin color corrector. And if you can share with me whatever your skin tone is, I will be able to target it for you and tell you tonight, right now, which one you should get. But what that does is that's the first thing to be able to knock out those dark circles that always appear around the eye. I always put a bit around the nose, because if you notice, everyone, no matter what the complexion is, has some type of redness around the nose. And especially if you're in a flare zone of feeling sick, having a cold, or going through anything, the nose is the indicator. And also around the mouth has like a bit of darkness there. So if you really want, like my lips right now, the reason why it looks the way it looks is because I knocked out all the darkness in here. So you can really focus on the shape of my lips and the color.
Right.
And there's nothing else distracting from it. So Jalisa, hun, if you can tell me whatever your skin tone is, you're either going to be in the peach family, which is if you think like Viola Davis, like on up, Angela Bassett first and Viola, or a little softer, which is called Brightener for us. And that's more like in the salmon kind of peachy family, a little lighter. And that's us. That would be like us, like the Halle Berrys, and even lighter like Alicia Keys, you know, that whole thing. So, and even fairer, Caucasian,
right.
Everyone else. would be in that family. So it just depends. Dark. Okay. So you would be in the peach. You would be in the darker spectrum for us. And so if you go online at fairweatherfaces.com, it's right there. It's called Skin Color Corrector, and you get the darker one, the peach.
Oh, now how does that work? Like, I know in the summer my skin is different than in the winter. In the winter I look kind of ashy. You know,
that's for everyone.
So how do you adjust
natural.
the makeup? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, most times you don't have just one foundation color. You'll have more than one. And for me, I like to work with palettes that have like a plethora of, it's just like deliciousness of all these different colors, because I'm a mixer. I love to mix. I love to create colors right then and there on the spot. If a client says, you know, I really want like a beigey color or a caramel, I got it. Whip it on my hand, and then I can apply it. So it's not unnatural for someone to have one foundation color in the winter and a completely different one in the summer. It is natural because the color flushes out of the skin naturally in the winter, and it picks up because of the heat in the summer. So yeah, it's normal to have.
So do you ever, as a makeup artist, are you confronted with the challenge, like you walk in a room and you have a client and you look at their face and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to beat that face? Like, how do you like how do you create?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can happen. So what can throw me is there's a lot of sparseness on the face. So let's say like with the brows, like there's like hardly any brow, and I have to construct it from the bones. Like, so I have to figure out, okay, so what do I want to do with the brows so that I can see the face shape, you know, the shape on the eyes to create something. What's going on with those lids? Are they puffy? Like this person, are they drinking their water? Are they hydrated? Because that also will indicate to me what formula foundation I can use. If they're dehydrated, for me, I like to go to creams, because then I have a better chance of the skin not eating the makeup. If they've got like skin like Picasso, it's rare, but it happens. Lisa, I think you're one of those that just has like that skin that does not require a whole lot of foundation for camouflaging, but just needs like maybe just a little touch here and there. So they can go with a lightweight foundation. It really just depends on what's going on with the person's health, that to me will determine what I can and can't do. So I do have those moments where I get a little nervous at first, but then I just calm down and I just think, because I've been doing it for so long, so that I think that that's also another reason why I'm still interested in it, is because it's kind of like a performance for me. They're expecting me to deliver something to them. So when they look in that mirror after, I want to be able to wow them, not with them going, okay, wow, like, okay, what is this? But like, oh, this is it. Like, this is, and my signature is I can do a heavy beat if someone requests it of me, but I love to do makeup that shows off skin, that where it looks really natural, and that's for the women and the men. Where they can go out in any space and feel comfortable and not have someone go, wow, you're wearing that makeup. No, they're going, you look amazing. What is it? Even especially for the men, you look amazing, but they don't want anyone to know that they're wearing. It's strategic.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? I'm gonna get the makeup for dummies. I'm gonna get that.
The face charts.
Yes.
They're a gem. They really are. They're a game changer.
Try it. I am definitely going to try it. And I think this is a good segue to take a break. And then we're going to bring both you and the chemist up. And I have some collaborative questions that I would like to ask both of you guys. All right.
Perfect.
So we'll be right back, my Urbanites. Stay with us with Dr. Lisa in the Urban Suite. Yeah, we have Felicia. We have my source, Cynthia. Good evening. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that blue. Look at that. Getting ready.
Of course, you love the blue.
Yes, I got my little.
Jessica Burns.
Jessica Burns. Good evening, Jessica and Felicia. Oh, thank you. Good evening. And Nas, thank you. That's my family right there. Nas, I tell you, thank you for joining into the Urban Suite. And if this is your first time, you are now officially an urbanite.
Yes, that's right.
All right. So thank you, ladies, for staying with me in the Urban Suite. So when I first came on, I asked the question about makeup, and I talked about it being $1 billion industry. Why do you think makeup is a $1 billion industry? Anyone can go. Kim, Andrea, your each perspective. Why do you think it's a $1 billion industry?
Kim, you want me to take it?
Go first, yes.
Okay, well, for me, I think it's more of a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
I always have, and I still think in that vein. I understand it in monetary terms of technically why, but I also always go back to the spirit that makeup is just something that can literally shift a person's energy. If they're feeling down, if they aren't feeling their best at that moment, and you create your art on their face and they are amazed by it, you literally can see the shift in them. They enter the room one way and they leave a completely different way. And for me, that's the blessing. And so I always say it's the spirit of it.
And what about you, Kim? Do you have any thoughts on why it's a $1 billion industry?
Yes, I think I totally agree with Andrea. Also because you have people that are trying. It builds a person's confidence because we think about makeup as a form of enhancement, but for some people, it's almost like a need, because if you have blemishes or what have you, or even acne, something you're actually treating your issues because you have makeup that has salicylic acid or things that can work as skincare and makeup at the same time. So that's a big trend as well, functional makeup. And so I've been seeing a lot of that. Your foundations with sunscreen. So you have your 2-in-1. So it's health, beauty, and it's building confidence all at the same time.
Wow, that's awesome. And then I it's so interesting because sometimes I wear makeup, sometimes I don't. But let me tell you, I bought some makeup, well, just lipstick, fashion fair. I had to
fashion fair.
What? I had to go back.
Always.
I had to go back when I found out that fashion fair was coming back. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's historical for us.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Fashion, that was my mom's go-to. And that's when I first discovered lipstick and makeup. I would put on her wig and put on lipstick. She did wear a wig at that time. I would put on a wig and put on this lipstick. And I saw myself like how I never saw myself before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was that fashion fair. So I said, I have to go and get my fashion fair. And this is something that fashion fair, this is the box that it came in. And I love, they have a beauty manifesto. And it says, we, the backbone of entire worlds, the most brilliant of all the night stars, the makers, the mothers, the magicians, we, the inventors of dreams, the tongues of hues, the shapers of yesterdays and tomorrows, we, the melanin majestic, the prettiest things, Black woman, we, dusted in ancient gold, draped in destiny, faces of the truth and faces forever of the most beautiful light. Oh,
say that.
yes.
I love it.
It's so because makeup, some people put too much on.
Yes.
And I was in the barber shop today and I told my barber and a customer, and they were both males, about my show. So they had their own input about makeup. And he was saying, my barber, that most men do not like women wearing a lot of makeup. It's such a turnoff. But oftentimes, I think when it said about seduction, the two reasons, the camouflage and seduction, sometimes I think we may be putting it on wrong, and the men are just like, I don't know about that. Do you get that sense sometimes?
All the time.
Ooh,
I'm
No,
sure
it's
she
funny
sees
because
it more than
sometimes,
me.
right? Way before COVID, before masks and everything, I'm the makeup artist that doesn't wear makeup. The only reason I have it on tonight is because I'm meeting with my sisters tonight. I'm not the makeup artist that wears makeup. I go in raw because I feel like I'll just say I'm lazy in that way. And I used to be on it when I was younger, but now I am confident in myself, in my naturalness.
Right.
So I go in raw because I'm presenting for everyone else and making them fabulous with the makeup. So I'm fine being natural. Having said that, I had a lot of men stop me in the street and say to me, sis, it's so nice to see someone just show their skin and their face. Why are sisters wearing so much makeup? And I have to say that I think, and Kim, I would really like to hear what you think about this, Kimberly. I think a lot of it has to do with like the YouTube videos where you have makeup enthusiasts. They may not be trained, and that's fine because I wasn't trained at first. It was me learning before I went to school to study. But YouTube is kind of like a rumor. If they start something, then it spreads like wildfire, as if that's what the pros are doing, and it's not. It's like, we don't apply makeup even close to that. Like I'm telling you, like we apply maybe a quarter of the makeup that they use, and it's like it's really daunting. So I agree with the men. I do think it's a bit too much in ways, unless you can do a real heavy beat. Me personally, I think the ones that beat that way are the drag queens. Like they show out. And really, in reality, that's what it was for. The heavy beats were really for the men that wanted to look like women. So they had to wear very heavy makeup to camouflage all that stubble, the darkness on the skin. That's what the beats were for. And even what that term came from was from the drag queens.
Right.
So, wearing a whole lot of makeup, me personally, I think it's because of YouTube and the different videos that are out there that the majority thinks, oh, that's how to do it. But if you ask a pro artist, they'll tell you, no, we go for skin. We want to see natural looking skin. We want to see Picasso lips. We want to see, more of that natural essence.
Now, what are Picasso lips? What's that?
That's just my term that I deemed many years ago, where, like I said before, when you knock out underneath here the darkness, you are then able to lift the shape of the lip. And then when you apply your lipstick, it looks more finished versus having distractions with colors underneath and around the mouth.
Now, what's the proper way to apply lipstick?
Well, there's a number of ways, but for me, what I like to do is making sure that the lip is even first. So if there's like discolorations on the lip, I need to get that even first. And then I come in with my lip pencil and I etch out. I always start at the bow, the top of the lip, bring it out, make sure it's even, get all the way into the corners of the lip, and then bring it down and around. And then I come back around again with my lip brush, and then I'll take whatever formula it is for the lipstick and then apply it with a lip brush, because I find with a brush I have way more control in the application, but then also in the longevity of it, the finish of it. And that's why I say Picasso, because in the end, it just looks like it's just finished.
Beautiful. Now, Kim, what is your thought about faces being too beat for women? Do you see that like that?
What I actually see is I've noticed that more fair-skinned women tend to wear more makeup, because the thought process or the trend that, you know, whether people want to admit it or not, Black is beautiful, and people always want that tan look. So in the winter, I've noticed that people tend to wear more makeup to get that more tan look or to add additional color. Whereas in the summer, you get a little more natural color, or a sister that's a little more brown skinned may not necessarily wear a foundation, but more like a bronzer or a highlighter or something to accentuate her features. And so that's something that I found that I see, especially at work. Most of the people in my skin tone, and I don't wear makeup to work mainly because I have to put makeup on at work. But and I don't feel I need that much.
You don't, honey.
You don't. Absolutely, you do not.
No,
but
beautiful.
I found that some of my coworkers that are a little more fair skinned, I mean, I've seen people that have like 2-3 layers, like they have on, you know, a blush and a highlighter and 20 other things on top, and I'm like, you're pink over here and you're white over here and you're red over there, and I'm okay. But you know, if that's their makeup of choice, then so be it.
So we have a man that has entered into the urban suite. Let's see, what does he say? David, he says, makeup is a turnoff is untrue. Excessive anything is a turnoff with most people. See, David, you weren't paying attention. In the urban suite, we didn't say makeup, we just said excessive makeup, the beat face. That's what we talking about, David. How you doing, David? Shout out to David in the urban suite. So yeah, so that's what, you know, because I think when it comes to seduction, sometimes you want to seduce yourself, sometimes you want to seduce your neighbor, sometimes you want to seduce your husband, you know, and you get that red lipstick that pops, you know, or that red orange lipstick that pops, and you have the eyes. Now, what I have noticed, ladies, these long eyelashes, the men don't like it. I don't like it either. It looks, it's like, what is that? Where do these trends come from? Is that what you're saying? Like social media? Is that?
That's exactly what I meant. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. To me, it just seems like it's like a rumor. If something is seen and then they think it's a cool thing, and then it kind of like spreads like wildfire as if it's a truth. And I think that's where all of that comes from, the heavy beats and the big long lashes.
Yeah. And I see, because where I work at BMI, I see, I kid you not, they're going on job interviews with those long lashes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, no one told you to kind of take them off or cut them or do something. I don't know. I mean, can you cut them or something? I don't know. And then they just go, and then they're pink, they're green.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. So any final words, Kimberly, any final words about makeup?
You know, makeup is meant for enhancement. It's meant to assist, because like I said, you have functional makeup with the sunscreen benefits, or with, you know, anti-aging or I lost my word, oily skin that with the pimples benefits. So with that, it's meant for enhancement, and there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, and that's why, like I said, it dates all the way back to the Egyptians. But you know, there is this a such thing as too much of a good thing, right? And so but it will never go away, because like you said, even whether people admit it or not, men wear it. And a lot of men on television, they do have to, powder their heads, their noses, whatever, what have you. And so makeup that's why it's this billion-dollar industry. And cosmetics as a whole also includes skincare, and everyone wears skincare. I mean, you lotion your baby up and, things of that nature. So you always going to wear cosmetics and beauty.
Now, a question: is it safe for us to wear?
Yes, absolutely.
Cause cancer or?
So a lot of those things, just like Andrea said, started with some YouTubers, some TikTokers, somebody who doesn't have the scientific facts, or it may be a particular case of someone who may have been prone to getting cancer or what have you, that they say, well, I used this for X amount of years and it's this reasoning. Now, the case of talc, I have read the reviews on it. It's possible. I'm not going to say it's not, but in the case of some of the preservatives we've used, I haven't seen enough data to prove it, but if one person says it's bad, then I've noticed, the stigma of it, it makes people just not interested. And that's why you'll see this big clean beauty trend where it's all natural, or, it's not tested on animals and things of that nature. So, I mean, clean beauty is something that's here to stay, and it's making it a little bit harder for us as formulators, but it is safe because everything has to be thoroughly tested, and we are regulated by the FDA, and they do actually audit products. They will go and pull them directly off the shelf and test the preservative system. They'll test the fill weight to make sure we're not lying to customers. They will test different things, and if you don't do right, they will send a very public letter to the CEO of the company stating why there's a cease and desist for whatever that product is.
Now that's interesting. So that's a job. Someone actually audits, in a sense, makeup.
Yes, and manufacturers, because my company does make sunscreen as well. We get audited by the FDA because the testing that OTCs, or over-the-counter makeup or over-the-counter drugs, which is what sunscreen and anti-acne is considered, because you don't need a prescription for it. Though we go through the same testing as Advil, and you're not ingesting it. And so it's very heavily regulated. Cosmetics is regulated by the FDA. It's not as stringent in the sense of it's a little bit less testing, but safety testing is always done. You always test your preservative system, especially anything on the eye or the lip. Lipsticks usually don't have water, but sometimes, you still have to test the water activity, make sure there's no microbes. And additional claims such as wear claims and consumer claims, which is, X amount of women prefer this product. Those are separate, but safety, such as, like I said, your micro and the bacteria, yeast, mold, those types of things, that's tested regardless. That's a requirement.
Wow. Yeah, because I see more vegan products, like vegan lipstick, vegan. And I only thought vegan was like food. I didn't think you could have like vegan makeup, but I guess you can.
I mean, about beeswax, that's a little bit controversial, but it's considered animal derived, but it has very unique properties. So sometimes customers are willing to make a little bit of an exception with beeswax compared to like royal jelly. Royal jelly is very animal derived, especially if you understand where it comes from.
Oh, okay. Just leave that right there. All right. And then, Andrea, any last words?
Yes. I would encourage your audience to consider really learning how to apply makeup on themselves well, and consider coming to Fairweather Faces and getting a face kit. They're simplified. Like I said, it was a arduous process for me to actually invent the product, but it does work. I took all the considerations into making sure it was multifunctional, that you could do it on the go, and to simplify a process that would take me, I moved fairly quickly, but just so that you can experience it for yourself, how to get these looks. and not have to bust your brain trying to figure out, well, I think it's this and I think it's that. We take the guesswork out for you so you can just do it in a few simple steps. So yeah, I always think that learning is a big key. And then also, it also helps Kimberly to know how to use the products better for yourself. So educating yourself is really key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I have one final question. I was getting ready to ask you, but then it just escaped. It's just like, I was just so focused on this is my question. Is it cost effective? Like, how much does the kit cost? Like, does it come in a package? Is it separate or?
Well, it's two things. So if it's someone that is really clear about the look that they want, we can create a personalized package for them.
Okay.
But if it's where you just go, okay, well, I feel like, I'm going to a wedding, so I want this look or that look, there's a range. So it can range from anywhere from like $35 for the simplest brush set, all the way up to like $355 for a kit, and that's including the makeup with it. So it just depends. It's like all over the place.
Right.
But we're here. So it's either we can build the kit for you, or you could just ding and it's already done. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Curtis, you have any questions? I think Curtis, he's having technical difficulties, or his mind is so blown away by all this makeup talk. All right. So I just want to say thank you again for coming into the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa LaCon, because in the Urban Suite is where you laugh, learn, cry, and grow. And don't forget, please don't forget to like, share, check me out. I'm on Facebook. I have like 3 pages on Facebook. Facebook Urban Twos for Change, my personal Facebook. I'm on Blessed Ministries. I'm on also Dad's Facebook, and then YouTube. So I'm all over the place, and I'm on LinkedIn. So you can find Dr. Lisa on those platforms. You can also find Dr. Lisa on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. So I just want to say thank you again, ladies, for being my guests in the Urban Suite. I know I learned a lot. And on that note, Molly, take us away. Do you know who I am?
Who are you?
Do you know who I am?
Why? Who wants to know?
You are who you say you are.
Do you know who I am? She said, Lisa.
Who else would it be?
They don't see us for who we are. And sometimes we don't see ourselves for who we are.
You don't know me at all.
Tell them who you are, man. Tell them who you are.
Tell him who you are!
There's certain people that I would never want to be stuck in an elevator with.
Hey, girlfriend.
Nope. No. They would drive me batty. Like, no.
How about no?
But if I have someone that's like, oh my God.
Panicking.
Oh my God.
Panicking.
Oh Lord.
Oh God. I'm so startled.
It's violent. He's like, wait a minute. No. I'm not feeling this. I need names.
Absolutely not.
And he still hasn't told them who he is.
Well, I don't like anybody I don't know. I don't like them or trust nobody I don't know.
Right. When people say, just calm down, you're like, no.
Calm down.
People say, just calm down. Well, no, I don't want to calm down. Who are you telling me to calm down?
Calm down.
For everyone was going around Wakanda forever.
Everybody.
They took their kids, and their kids dressed up like they were in Wakanda. And their kids probably thought there was a real Wakanda.
I thought y'all was my people.
A lot.
Wow, that was a lot.
A lot. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
I know it's the thought that counts. But what the hell were you thinking?
Kyle, what were you thinking?
That's why I talk about the mind.
Bye.